Hey guys, just wanted to do some video content as promised. Think of this as an extension to your World Cup 24/7 shows that some of you are getting, and an extension to the World Cup key game show that we are doing as well. Those shows are very much betting orientated and don't leave too much room for opinion, so I just wanted to give my opinions on some of the things that we've seen in the last few days. Germany, Holland, Nagelsmann, Koeman, those two managers deserve to be sacked as soon as their planes land back in their countries. Koeman should never ever get a job again as a manager. Nagelsmann certainly shouldn't get another top job. His stock has never been lower after Germany flopped again, eliminated by Paraguay. There was absolutely no reason for Nagelsmann to play his strongest team in the final group game when they already won the group. It wasn't a case of them qualifying. They'd already won the group. It was needless. It was 4 p.m. in New Jersey. It was one of the worst times and one of the worst places to play your first team. And you had the game coming up in Boston, another outside game in the heat, and you played your first team for no reason whatsoever. And they had nothing about them. They had no cutting edge. They were actually lucky to even get through to extra time. And the Germans did what the Germans never do. They lost a penalty shootout. As for Holland, as for Koeman and what he did, that was absolutely inexplicable. You have flown through the group stages, and what have you done? You've scored goals, 2 against Japan, 3 against Tunisia, and 5 against Sweden, which is more than France managed yesterday, and I want to talk about them in a second. And what do? You set up defensively. You give all of that respect to Morocco. For what reason? Yes, they're a very good team, and yes, I expect them to get all the way through to the quarterfinals. I expect them to have too much for Canada. But why are Holland setting up that way against Morocco when there are probably only two Morocco players who would get into a combined 11? If you saw the teams between Morocco and Holland, you would definitely take no more than 2 players from Morocco and put them in your combined 11. So therefore, why is Koeman setting up with a back 5 when he has outscored teams in the group stage? 5 against Sweden. That still is probably the best standout performance of this World Cup. Yet that team are going home. And then we're also hearing stories about how Van Dijk refused to take a penalty or made an excuse not to take a penalty. Well, Van Dijk won't play at another World Cup. So that was his last chance. He'll be at the Euros in 2 years, I'm sure, but he won't be at another World Cup. So a lot of players should be very, very disappointed. But the person who's most to blame there is Ronald Koeman for his tactics. England almost suffered the same fate, but they got away with it. But I do feel that Mexico are more than a live dog at around about 6-4 plus 150 at the weekend when England go to the Azteca. Last time England played a knockout game at the Azteca was in 1986, and they lost to the hand of God and one of the best goals ever by the same player within 4 minutes. And I was reading there was 114,000 people there for that game. There won't be 114,000 people there on Sunday, but it will be a hostile atmosphere. And I have my doubts that England are going to be able to deal with it. England just simply aren't moving the ball around quick enough. The friendlies that they played, their preparation for this tournament wasn't good enough. People say the Nations League doesn't mean anything, it's meaningless, but what it did allow England to do when they were in the higher tier was to play against better teams. They haven't played against any top teams to prepare for this competition. And the irony is I don't actually worry as much about England's performance against top teams, because I do think it suits them better to play a back and forth game. But they've constantly struggled to break down a low block, and Mexico are a team who haven't conceded a single goal in this tournament. So I think it's going to be difficult for England. Finishing up, I want to talk about France, because I went to my first game at this World Cup yesterday, going to another one next week, but I wanted to get that first game out of the way before I started to do video content. I'm also swamped with content that I have to do. I have to watch the games, I have to talk about the games, I have podcasts to do, I have to cover Wimbledon, I have to look ahead to UFC this weekend. So it's been difficult to do free video content, but France, they're an unbelievable team. I cannot believe what I saw yesterday. I saw a team in second or third gear just completely blow away Sweden. Sweden carried no threat whatsoever. When France decided to move up those gears and penetrate, they were absolutely deadly. The movement was deadly. The passing was deadly. the main question about France coming into this competition was who could beat France if France were dialed in. I don't think anybody can. The only team that can beat France is France themselves if they somehow self-capitulate, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like what we have is a bunch of world-class players who are all in sync. They are all compatible with each other. They all know what each other are going to do, and it's working seamlessly, and I believe this team are going to be unstoppable. We have them at 4-1. We now have them at 2-1, and I think even that's big because it implies that this world-class team full of world-class players only have a 33% chance of winning this competition, and therefore there's a 67% chance that somebody beats them. Who's that going to be? Spain, Portugal, Brazil, Argentina? I don't think so. I think we watched an unbelievable team yesterday. I think me and my friend went to that stadium and we came away believing that we watched the winners of this World Cup. I wouldn't be looking past France to lift this trophy on July the 19th.